Hello, and welcome to this video. This will be the first video in a series of around 8 videos, and this will be used to teach you how to program in C++, which is a low-level language, which that means it doesn't have a whole bunch of stuff to make things easier. That may sound bad, but it can do things that other languages can't do. Yeah, and if you don't know what programming is, it's basically you're writing a program that will then run through a compiler, and that compiler will turn your program into machine code, which is in binary, which is ones and zeros, and that then can be understood by the CPU on your computer. If you don't know what it is, you can look it up, and it's pretty interesting. But in this tutorial, I'll be using CLion as the IDE. So you can get it by searching CLion and going to download CLion. Then wait for it to load. You can choose how you want it. We're gonna do this. Press download. I already did, whoops. Um, Cancel that. And, yeah, and then we will go to downloads folder of this here. It will load eventually. Uh, Eventually. The screen and that, and then you say next. You'll have that. You can choose where you want it. And then here's a bunch of file folder types it will be associated with. So we do this. I don't use see those. Your desktop shortcut. Do that too. You say next. And you can tell it what folder to go in. Actually, start menu folder. You press install. I already installed it, so I don't need to do that. So yeah, just say yep. So then you'll be met with this. When you first open it, it might ask you to create an account of some kind. You'll have to do that, and then you choose so it will ask you to do something. It will say something like this thing, and say that you'll have something like this. You'll go to that free non-commercial use. Get to that degree, start, and it'll ask you a few things like to sign in and other things. Yeah. But now, once you get all that done, you can say new project, and we will be doing a C++ executable in C++20. Let's create. So when you first open it, it'll look something like this, and you'll have two files. Well, no, three, because it generated one. I'll tell you what that is later. And these two you can ignore. You can also ignore that one. But yeah, here we have what's called a CMake list.txt, which is configuration for compiler or build system in this case, which is for the compiler. And this will tell it what it needs to do. But for now, it has everything we need, so we can just ignore it. Oh yeah, I'll explain this another time in more detail. Then we come to this. This is a normal hello world program, which if we run, do some compiling, so everything's good. It'll say hello world, which is done by this line. I'll also explain that soon. And it returns 0, this line did. so everything works fine. But now, yeah. But this, so if we remove that, this is what we're going to be worried about for now. This is called the main function, and it is almost in every C++ program. It is the function that will be called automatically when the program starts, and it will go do everything from there until it reaches the return, and the return will put a value, or it will return a value. That's what, and this tells it what it returns to the operating system, and then it tells the operating system if everything went well or not. That's what this return is for. But yeah. And sometimes you'll have it have things like, uh, have our, it's not doing, sometimes it'll have parameters, but, I'll explain that. So that you can find it's actually necessary. Yeah, but now, that that part. Yeah. Then we have what's called an include or a preprocessor directive, something like that. And this tells the compiler or build system, yeah, compiler, that I want to use code that someone else wrote some other time. Because if you wrote this by yourself, it'd take a long time. So I'm gonna include it, IO stream, which is input output stream, which will put stuff to the console. Which, by the way, here it's like this, but sometimes it's like a window that pops up, something like this, something like that. But yeah, in that case, that. Um, so if you see that instead, you're okay. But this will allow us to do some input and output to that console. Sometimes, yeah. And then we have, yeah, this is from this. That right there is part of that. So we couldn't do that without that. And this will just print stuff to the console. This is basically just means system out, or yeah. Then we have this little weird thing right here. This is called a namespace. And namespaces are, yeah, they tell us that they make sure that things don't collide. So if I had this C out, but then I wanted to make my own C out, if I tried to call this and that, it would get them confused and it would be weird things. But this makes it so that we don't have to worry about that. So we just put this here to do that, and we can do our own namespace. Yeah, which would be something different, whatever we made it to do. And then, yeah, so we can make our own namespace stuff if we so desire. And then we can do brackets. We can make our own code here and do stuff. Do int arts. I'll explain that in the next video. But yeah, this is a function like main, except now it's in a namespace. And we could also return things. But you see this right here. This will return the same thing. So an int is a number. It can be any number from negative some like 65,000 to negative 65,000 to 65,000. But yeah, we don't have to worry about that for now. But we can return my keyboard is being weird. Return args, so that will basically just, it'll return whatever this is. This, we can put data into the function, so it could do stuff, so we could also do something like args plus 1, so we'll do plus 1 whatever you put here. And yeah, you see it's in a namespace, so if you wasn't in a namespace, we just do stuff, some number. But yeah, that doesn't work because we're in a namespace. So we just do stuff and now it works. Yeah. Usually it'd probably be like this. Namespace is there just to tell you what namespace was. Yeah, so now it works, and if we run it, we'll compile, and whoops. Yeah, we'll compile, and we don't know what it did, so we'll just don't worry about what this actually really does. Yeah, yeah, we have that. Now it should print 98. Yeah, yep, there we go. It printed 98. And space there if we wanted it. Space. So it's not cramped. Yep, right there. Hello world 98. We put 97 there, added 1, and returned it. And it also, and see how it also took the return value and added it to hello world. Yeah, and yeah. But yeah, it isn't in characters, it's in binary integers. Yeah, yeah, we don't need to. I don't know why I'm doing it. Alright. Yep. So that's all we're gonna do for today. If you don't understand it, you can comment and I can explain it a little better. Alright. Yep. Bye.